Chinese just come and set up, companies. Before you know it, there are mounds and mounds of quarry, something that we have never seen before. And this is what we need to be reflecting on as we discuss this. So I hope these pictures are clear enough. So these pictures are from the site, from the actual work or activities that are taking place at Hualin. We'll get back to them maybe later. Even this one, this is infrastructure that has been set up there at this place. Then there are controversies regarding the establishment of Chinese companies in developing countries. That has been well documented. But from my experience, from my travels around the world, there is no country that doesn't have, this Chinese influence. You go even to the developed countries, the Chinese are there. You come to developing countries, the Chinese are here. So the question is, what do we do about them? Can we just wish them away? And what would be the implications of actually wishing them away? So, and they're not just penetrating mining or quarrying, they are in virtually all sectors of the economy. They are very aggressive in pursuing investments. Where locals may not be seeing any opportunities at all, they are seeing opportunities. Some of us were born and bred in 70 in Pumula. And we've been having those stones around us, isn't it? Since that time. Then suddenly, somebody comes all the way from Beijing. They don't see stones, but they see an investment. And this is why they're now mining at our doorstep. Maybe there's something even beyond the doorstep that they are going to discover and find interest in investing in. So that's you find that sign at the company. It's called Hualin Quarry. Let me mention that this is just part of the work that I've done so far. This paper is not complete at all. We're still going to get more data, more evidence to supplement the final document that is going to come out of this research. So I was saying, I think I would like to find out what does Hualin mean. It may mean something very interesting to us, but that's Chinese, I suppose. So all these are pictures from there. Then some concepts, what is quarrying? Quarrying is the process of collecting stones from natural rock surfaces for the purposes of using different sizes of the quarries, mainly in construction, but they can also be used for other purposes. And when we look at this particular area that we're talking about, the terrain there, it is favorable to the type of investment that the Chinese have identified for the area. It is hilly, it has got rocks that are suitable for the stones or boulders for crushing and producing the quarry that is required. So perhaps this is why somebody from China came and took a walk in Pumula there, and they realized that there is money to be made here, because there is everything that is required for a quarry plant to be set up. So the objectives of this paper will be to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of Chinese quarry investment in the local community. There is so much that is said about the Chinese, good and bad. But I think we've got to be objective enough to ask ourselves, is this benefiting the community in Pumula? If it is, then what's wrong with it? And other questions may arise from that. Then we also will seek to unearth community challenges associated with the quarrying business that we're talking about. Already from the vibes that I got speaking to some residents there, speaking to some former employees and current employees, speaking to the local leadership there, the councillor and the local MP, there are indeed challenges that I hope we're going to dwell on at length in this discussion. Then the third objectives will be to proffer solutions, maybe come up with recommendations on what needs to be done. And as has been said, this is a policy brief. Policies are made by us. So we need to come up with strong policy recommendations from this discussion. I will not bother you with the theoretical issues. I'm sure you are eager to discuss the real stuff. So if you look at the conditions that are required for a quarry site, the site should not be near human settlements for easy access to labor. I think there's a mistake there. Then transportation facilities should also be possible, because a quarry is not something that you carry easily. So the road, rail, and other networks should be such that it will facilitate the easy movement of your product. Then clean water source and proper drainage facilities. I have been to this place. I've been to Pumula North, specifically to collect data for this particular discussion. And I was informed that before the Chinese came, there was no water at that particular site. But the Chinese have actually sunk a hole, and they now do have water that they need for their activities, and there are controversies, there are issues, because they are not sharing that water with the community. But the question is, are they obliged to share the water with the community? Then there should be good quality and quantity of stone. I think we've already seen that is there. The site should be far from permanent structures like houses, bridges, dams, to avoid damaging vibrations from blasting activities. This is going to be one of the key issues, I think, from those that come from Pumula. We'll hear what they have to say about this. Then the non-living area should be available to dump the refuse obtained in quarrying. Then the geological information of the site should be read to understand the nature and quantity of the resource that is available. So in the case of Hualin, which is this company, all these conditions were favorable for the establishment of that business. Never mind, we've been there ourselves and we never saw it happening until the Chinese had to come all the way from Wuhan and set up that plant. And coincidentally, I understand they started working there in 2019. And this was the time of COVID also coming to attack us. Then the methodology that we're going to use, part of it is going to be desktop research, which is what I've already used to come up with this state of the paper. Then the document analysis. We'll need some company documents and newspapers and other publicly available written material on this particular venture. Then there's going to be interviews. We've already had interviews with some key stakeholders, but I think it should include residents, abahlali bePumula, izakhamizi zePumula, lemuli zazo. Then employees, that is people that have worked for this particular company, local councillor, and I'm glad we've got the local councillor here. That is Councillor for 17. Then the Member of Parliament, I've already spoken with those two. Also the members of BPPRIZ and Bura as well. I think they came up in the discussions that I had with some individuals that I spoke to when I went to Pumula. Then I'm also planning that we have group discussions. When I went there on the ground, I had their sections in Pumula. Maybe they counted about 5 sections. So it would be good to also get the views from each of the sections. And maybe those views should actually come from not only just overall, but we also hear the women's views regarding the operations of this particular quarry plant. Then we'll also use photography. We'll take pictures and interpret those pictures in terms of what we want to explain. So this is going to be the methodology, but that's mainly for the team that is going to be researching. Then the findings so far, I'm saying so far because I've already said that this is not really the complete. The mine is located in Ward 17 of Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, which is in Pumula North Residential Suburb, but maybe the councillor can explain how far Ward 17 goes. About 100 meters from Pumula High School. That is the approximate distance between the mine gate and where the school is. And I think I showed the picture of the school somewhere here. This is Pumula High. So this mine is just very close to the gate of Pumula High. Then I understand the Bulawayo City Council Master Plan and Minister of Mines are already aware that there is this operation that is taking place, and they were involved in making a decision to actually allow the Chinese to go and set up there. Then operations started around February 2019 at the beginning of COVID, and they have a 10-year contract. I think I stand corrected here because in my discussion with the councillor, something was not really agreeing with this. Then the quarry mining activities affect mainly Pumula South, Robert Sinyoka, Methodist, St. Peter's. There is a community that I learned about yesterday. It's called Mazwi, as well as Makwekwe North and Makwekwe West, which are the main areas that are affected by this. Then there are two other quarry mining concerns within the vicinity, and also operated by the Chinese, I understand. Sorry? Indians. Yeah. There is one along Kami Road. If you are going to PPRIZ via Solusi Road, take that turn. If you know where KQ Paris is, then on the left, there is a new quarry that has come up as well. But I understand, I've not been to this one. I understand there is another one in Lubebe that is also coming up. Maybe the councillor is going to share with us this information. So I think I'm mentioning this so that we see how big the problem is. It's not just one quarry in Pumula that we need to worry about. But I'm saying within the 5-kilometer radius, there are other quarrying activities that are taking place. Because the resources there, and the Chinese are very exploitative of these resources. They see an economic value in them, which maybe we didn't see. The investment created employment for the local young people. When I was speaking to one young man who was employed there at the beginning, he says there were about 10 people, maybe on the first day. Then they went there and asked to be employed, and the Chinese guys said, okay, come. And they went there, there were 5 of them. So the second day, there were about 15. But now, the estimates are that there are about 30 people employed at the quarry. 28 of those are males and 2 are females. And females are working in the front offices, I understand. In 2021, there was a donation of groceries. I'm talking here about the benefits to the community. So employment is one of them. But in 2021, there was a donation of groceries to some households by the mine. For those in the list, I understand, but I'm yet to verify the authenticity of that and who the actual beneficiaries were and what criteria possibly was used to identify those beneficiaries. I understand the company has also bought some JoJo tanks to be installed for Bowsers, for city council Bowsers to come and offload the water into them so that the residents can then get the water from these jojos. As we are aware that we have a water problem in the city. However, these jojo tanks are yet to be installed. And I understand one of the jojo tanks currently is at the company premises, and we need to hear more about the program of installing them and bringing them to use for the benefit of the community. I understand the other benefit that the community is realizing from this investment is that when you're a resident of Pumula and you're buying quarry from Hualin, they give you a discount. A figure of 10% was touted. All you need is to produce proof that you are a resident of Pumula, maybe by way of a water bill or anything that will prove that you are a resident in Pumula. Now we come to the concerns. The people that I spoke to, I can tell you that there was this bit of the benefits, but there was this bit of consent. So, for instance, the first concern was that blasting is affecting the houses and infrastructure in the area. You know, because of Amadalame, which the Chinese are blasting anytime. I understand there was an agreement that since the place is next to the school, the blasting should only happen at night when the school is not in operation. Or maybe when the school is closed, that's when they can blast anytime. But I understand they are not observing that. When the children are in class, suddenly they can hear, you know, an explosion. And this explosion, you can imagine the intensity of it with the school next door. Because even people in Makwebe North or Makwebe West, St. Peter's and Mazwi and other areas, they can feel the tremors, they can feel the noise coming from that blast. So that is a concern to them. Then there's also a concern about the damage to the roads in the area. And the informant or the interviewee that I spoke to talked about 21-ton trucks that are coming to the quarry, to collect the quarry that has been bought. And I understand they are leaving so much destruction in terms of the roads in the area. Then there is also the issue of employment of outsiders ahead of locals. There was mentioned that these employees from outside are actually so desperate that they accept living in dog kennels. I understand I think you saw that double-story building. That's where the Chinese are staying. That's their residence. That's where they've built and allocated themselves places to stay. But the other picture that I showed you is of a wooden house. And those wooden houses is where the employees are staying. And it is those employees that are not from Pumula, I understand, who are staying there. It makes sense because otherwise if you're a local resident, you would be staying at home, waking up in the morning and going to work. The owner does not come to community meetings when called upon to do so. James. James is, I think, I understand is his driver. So he couldn't answer questions that the Chinese guy was supposed to answer. And there is also an assertion that people are working long hours and underpaid. I understand they start an hour early in the morning and knock off an hour late in the evening, which is 2 hours more than anyone that would be working in a properly run firm that is observing the regulations of this industry. So there is an element of dishonesty that is being alleged. Then there is also the issue of dust from the quarry that is affecting people as well as flora and fauna in the area. I was talking to this person and he says, if you are aware of what used to happen at cement siding, that is the PPC, that cement company, at some point, the whole area was just dusty, even the trees. You know, you couldn't see the green in the leaves because the dust was settling on the leaves and stuff like that. So this is the dust that they are complaining about. The question is, what is it doing to the people's health? What is it doing to the animals and also the plants there? There is also the issue of unfulfilled promises by the investor on the boreholes. The donation of JoJo tanks, I think I've already alluded to that. The company drilled a borehole to meet their water requirements, but will not share the water with the community. And this is a good sign of bad neighborliness, I suppose. But maybe somebody needs to talk to the Chinese guy and understand them well from their perspective to say, why are they doing that? Is it not just quarry mining is it just the quarry mining that is taking place? That's another question that people are asking. Or there is something else that is taking place there in terms of extraction of the mineral that we are not being told about. I remember at some point I was passing through this factory, this Chinese factory as you go to Harare. You know, if you're about to cross Manyame River there, that way, on the left, there is another Chinese, huge structure that has been constructed by the Chinese there. I understand they make tires. Then somebody was saying, these guys, they can come all the way from China to make tires here. But the soil for making those tires is not actually coming from there. I understand it's coming several kilometers from somewhere else. And there was suspicion that there could be gold in that soil that is being transported all the way to is it Manyame, and purportedly to come and make some tires. So there are questions. People are also questioning, is it just quarry that we are seeing there, or there is something else that is actually happening? So there is the problem of failure to plow back to the community, which is lack of good corporate social responsibility by the company. And how are the proceeds accounted for? The person that I spoke to on this one was saying, the Chinese never beg their money. We have never seen a truck from these security companies going there to pick up the cash, to take it to the bank. So what exactly is happening? Are we not talking about financial leakages here or aspects of money laundering? So these are some of the concerns. Then what has come up so far, again, in my discussion with my interviewees, is the issue of occupational safety and health. I was told a very sad story of a Mr. Ndlovu who was working there, and in April last year, he was hit by, there was an accident. He was hit by a metal on his leg, and it became a serious accident. I spoke to him, actually, Mr. Ndlovu, and he says he was in the hospital for a very long time. And even up now, he's using crutches. And he only started work yesterday, by the way, from April last year. And there are issues about how he's been compensated for the time that he's sick, but what he was sick. But what is clearly coming out here is that the issues of NASA, as far as employees are concerned, are seemingly violated by this particular company, because when he got injured, a report was supposed to be made there so that he could be treated and, like any other employee who is contributing to NASA, but that was not the case. So the question is, why is the company being allowed to operate without compliance to these statutory requirements? We are yet to follow up this issue. Maybe when we discuss it next time, I think we'll be having better answers than that. So maybe to conclude, because we need to discuss this, the general geological rock formation within Ward 17 and surrounding areas favor quarry businesses, and hence the choice of this type of business by this particular investor. So maybe it's an opportunity that we also need to see as locals. There is so much rock here that if we have the resources, if we have the capital, we can also start up such a business. Then maybe some recommendation from what has been discussed so far is that leadership should discuss meaningful corporate social responsibility matters with the company. Maybe we need a team that will go and sit down with the owners of this company and discuss how they can be responsible corporate citizens, particularly for the community around there, particularly for the Mazi, St. Peter's, PPRIZ, Robert Sinyoka, and the others that I mentioned earlier on, Magwegwe North, Magwegwe West, and the other neighboring communities. Maybe let me say, as long as you can hear the noise from the blast, then you are affected. So something needs to be done. It is necessary to develop clear share schemes since this quarry is located in the said residential area and is actually affecting the residents there. There was a suggestion by one informant that why not donate to the community or give to the community and create a revenue fund or a bank account for the community where out of 5 trucks, 21-ton trucks that are sold, at least one goes to the community. So I think that was a good suggestion and it could be pursued. Otherwise, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I thought I could show you.